Shalom, I'm Moreh Matan, and welcome to this week's Moreh Minute. This week, our Torah portion is Vayigash. And I want to start out by asking you a question. How do you feel about confrontation? Major League Baseball's Baltimore Orioles manager Earl Weaver said this when he retired. "I don't really like confrontation. It's one of the reasons I'm retiring. I'm just tired of hurting people's feelings." Is that how you feel about confrontation? Are you nervous about it? Are you apprehensive? Do you have some anxiety about confronting another person? You know, it doesn't always have to be negative. But I will say this, not every confrontation has to be negative, and not every confrontation has to have a negative result. And that's what we see in this week's Torah portion, Vayigash, with Judah and Joseph. I have two commentaries that I'd like to bring in today, the Midrash Tanhuma, which we've been reading from, and also from the Midrash Rabbah. Let me read this to you. Have you ever heard of the 2 Jews, 3 opinions? Well, how about 3 Jews and 4 opinions? The Midrash Rabbah says this, "And Rabbi Judah said, the word 'and he approached,' Vayigash, implies an approach to battle, as it says in 2 Samuel 10:13, so Joab and the people that were with him approached unto battle." So in Genesis 44:18, the verse says, "And Judah approached him." Judah is about to approach Joseph. But what's his motivation? Why is he approaching him? Well, Rabbi Judah says he's approaching him to fight. He's approaching for battle. But Rabbi Nehemiah comes along and says, no, I disagree. The verb "and he approached," Vayigash, implies a coming near for conciliation, for a way to make up, to make the relationship stable again. As it says in Joshua 14:6, the children of Judah approached Joshua. So an approaching for conciliation, or should we say reconciliation. The sages come along and say it implies a need for prayer, as in the verse 1 Kings 18:36 that says, "And it came to pass at the time of the evening offering that Elijah the prophet approached." So the sages say that Elijah is approaching for prayer. Prayer is an interesting word. We pretty much in the modern English language only use the term prayer for talking to God. But the word prayer really means you're going to someone to ask for something, to plead for something, to appeal to their generosity and to their kindness. My grandfather, may his memory be blessed, used to say that prayer is a conversation between 2 people who love each other. I think that's wonderful. Think about that in regards to how you speak to the Lord. Rabbi Eliezer comes along, he's our 4th opinion, and he says, okay, none of you are right, but all of you are right. He says, Judah approached Joseph for all 3, saying, if it's for war, then it'll be for war. If I find that there's conciliation, then I approach for conciliation. If for entreaty, then I approach to entreat. So in other words, Rabbi Eliezer was saying that we need to be ready for every type of result when we go to confront someone. And let me give you a few pieces of advice. The first one is, if you need to confront someone, don't do it in the heat of the moment. Don't do it when you're angry. Most of the time, we regret what we say and how we say it when we're angry. Our first verse, "And Judah approached him," was in chapter 44:18. But look at the result as Judah has approached Joseph in 45:1. The confrontation between Joseph and Judah, to what can it be compared? It can be compared to an ox that is running all about and all the animals are fleeing from it until the lion appeared and then the ox retreated. In Genesis 49, all the sons of Jacob are compared to different animals. Naphtali is a gazelle, Dan is a serpent, Benjamin is a wolf, etc. Well, Joseph is likened to an ox, and Judah, of course, is likened to a lion. So Judah is approaching someone who has had the upper hand this whole time. Joseph has been providing this huge drama, putting the cup in Benjamin's sack. He's going to continue to be dramatic, to give double portions of food, or I take it back, I think it's like 5 times the portion of food to Benjamin than to the other brothers. There's all these things going on that create drama. But as Judah approaches him, because of his attitude, because of his spirit of take me instead, basically. Because of his purity, it pierces the heart of Joseph. Let's read a little bit more in the Midrash Rabbah about what it says on this particular subject. Regarding the encounter between Judah and Joseph, it is said, "Counsel in the heart of a man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out." That's from Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. This may be compared to a very deep well with cold and excellent water, but no one can get to it. It's too deep. So a man ties thread by thread a cord and lowers a bucket down in to get the water, and when he brought it up, everyone was able to drink the water. And in this same way, Judah did not cease from answering Joseph word for word until it penetrated to his very heart. How we confront people will have a direct effect on what the result of that confrontation is. My mother always used to say, and she still says, that you can attract more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. In other words, there's a sweet way to do something and there is a sour way to do something. And sometimes you can get the same result, but without doing any more damage than you need to. Maybe we should reflect on the words of Earl Weaver, who looked back on his career when he would confront people in anger and say, "I just regret hurting people." There was no need for it to be personal or for anything like that. It was a confrontation, a disagreement. It didn't have to get ugly. In your life, when you have to confront someone, again, don't do it out of anger. Think of the best interest between you and that person, the best result that could happen, and aim toward that. If there is a way for the confrontation to lead to a reconciliation, that is the best route. Now, for some of us in some situations, that's not going to happen. The person isn't ready or willing to reconcile. But remember what we're told in the New Testament. As far as it is up to you, live at peace with everyone. In your confrontations, may you remember Psalm 19:14. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. If you want more information, you can go to kosherpastor.com. We now have 7 courses that are a bachelor's level teaching series that is going to really strengthen your faith. And it's my hope that you will study where I study, that you'll be a fellow student with me at Yeshivat Shuvu, the largest Messianic Jewish yeshiva in the world. We're in 52 different countries, in multiple languages, and we'd like you to be a part of us. If you'd like to donate to the cause, you can go to ahavatami.org and support our parent ministry, Ahavat Ammi Ministries, or you can sign up for the yeshiva at shuvu.tv. Thank you so much. I'm Moreh Matan. Shalom and Kol Tuv.